Well, is anybody here with me?
Well, you got
Yeah, I
five
got
people.
5 people. Okay. I really don't know what's wrong with StreamYard tonight. I've been on and off trying to back and forth. I was about to throw this computer out the front door, but Dina suggested no, it costs too much money. I'm glad to see the ones that are here right now. I apologize for that. I hope this thing does not buff tonight because we're parked in Wisconsin in the middle of a bunch of trees. We've been on the road all day. We're wore out, exhausted. So this is probably not going to last very long tonight. Although me and Tony are talking about chemtrails and contrails and a bunch of other stuff tonight at 8 o'clock. Um, I want to talk about a few things here tonight. So we got some good news and good news, but bad news. Um, do I think Lori Vallow? Yes, she's gonna be. In my opinion, she will be found guilty. She needs to go to prison forever. They need to, as my dad used to say, they need to drop the jail on top of her. Maggie. Um, sorry about that. We are in Wisconsin. I think that's the guy that owns the place. We're here. Um, we are still hoping and praying for the 3 sailors missing off the Mexican coast. Very, very experienced sailors, and they have not been seen since April the 4th. So we're hoping something to be found. I don't know if you saw on the news tonight, Natalie Holloway's uh, that Van D Slope or whatever his name is, that kid that probably either killed her or hit her, or I don't know what he did to her, but I don't feel like she's alive. He is going to be extradited from Peru's prison where he's doing 28 years to face charges in Alabama, my home state. Um, Even though I don't live there now, but my home state is going to try him for murder up there, or either of interfering with custody. I don't know what all they're going to charge him with, but he is going to be extradited out of Peru. Now, for that matter, Peru prisons are probably horrible, and he'd probably be very glad to spend the rest of his time in the Alabama prisons, even though Alabama prisons are under a judge's order, federal judge's order to eliminate a lot of prisoners because they have a horrible problem with overcrowding. But that's good news. And anyway, he's going to get him. Another thing is remains found, and this is the main thing off the thumbnail is remains were found in a county here off of near Michael Chambers' home, about 16 or 17 miles away from Michael Chambers' home, by a hunter with a bicycle, and they took DNA from it, and this was last November, and they just now found out that it is the remains of the firefighter. Now, the good thing about this is that the sheriff said out of Hunt County that they will be able to find out more investigation on this. It was last November of 2022 when it was found, and hopefully they'll be able to find that cause of death. Right now, that I think the coroner did not rule a cause of death on it because they'll have to really go through the bones and find out if he had injuries, or if he had, if he had a hole in the head. It looks like a gunshot. That'd be easy, but they will be doing some more testing on it and find out hopefully what the cause of death was, and it just doesn't leave it out there. Who knows? Um, he faces charges trying to extort money from her. Okay, well, I don't know have that, but he'll be over there, and then hopefully, maybe they'll offer him some type of deal if he tells them where the body's at. Even if it's would you rather go back and do 28 years in a Peruvian prison, or would you like to spend your time here in the United States in a fairly decent prison where you got food and you're not people are not trying to kill you and all this other kind of stuff. I tell you, if I had to spend my time in prison, it'd be in the United States, not in Peruvian prison, because he'll probably do the whole 28 years in Peruvian prison, and they can tell him, hey, we'll run this thing concurrent or whatever if you just tell us where the body is, because that has been, I mean, her mother is I'm simply saying that nobody wants that outcome, but at least they could find in some type of closure. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but we do have a couple other people that are missing. This is an EMS worker missing out of Cleveland. She was a witness in a case of rape by this man right here. He's charged with 2 counts of rape and 1 count of abduction in May of 2022. Another picture of him, and they think that he may have something to do with her disappearance. I'm going to play you a little video here.
And now at 6, an urgent search is underway for a missing EMS worker out of Cleveland's east side. Good morning, I'm Danita Harris.
I'm Mike Brookbank. Those search efforts continuing at this hour.
Mike Holden joins us live from the 5th District Police Station with the latest on this active search. Good morning, Mike.
Danita, Mike, good morning to you. Cleveland police confirming that she is in fact a missing endangered person. However, at this point, a little after 6 o'clock this morning, it's still not entirely clear what led up to her disappearance. So we're continuing to check in with investigators. In the meantime, that search is happening right now. And over the last hour and a half, we spotted several officers in her neighborhood. I want to pop up this picture, take a good look, stop what you're doing, and come over here to your TV right now. So this is the person we're focused on this morning, and this is Lachelle Jordan. She is 30 years old and is missing from Fairport Avenue in Cleveland. News 5 confirmed overnight that she is a Cleveland EMS worker. Her photo is now splashed across Twitter and Facebook in hopes of bringing her home to safety. Now, overnight, our news tracker actually went to Fairport Avenue and spotted dozens of police cars in the neighborhood. We also saw officers inside of a home searching with flashlights. This is again where she was last seen on May 6th. Police were incredibly busy out there as they searched for Jordan and remained tight-lipped about this case. Now, back out here live this morning, we do want to again pop up these numbers in hopes of someone maybe knowing where Lachelle Jordan is. You can simply call 911 or you can call Crime Stoppers. That number right there is 216-25-CRIME. There's also that following number. It's 216-621-1234. Of course, Mike, Danita, we're going to keep a close eye on this case, and as soon as I get any new information, I'll break back in. Back to you.
That's right. The woman who is to testify against Stenick has herself gone missing. It is not sure if she is in hiding or if something actually happened to her. Now, Michael Stenick has a lot to answer for, especially because he was arrested just this morning. Cleveland police arrested this man, 65-year-old Michael Stenick, today and charged him with violating a protection order while committing a felony and menacing by stalking. Stenick is also a suspect in a rape case dating back to August of 2021. He was indicted on 2 counts of rape and 1 count of abduction in May of 2022. The rape allegedly happened here at the Zelma George Rec Center almost 2 years ago. Stenick was scheduled to appear in court this morning, but his pre-trial conference was delayed until May 30th. A Cleveland EMS employee, 30-year-old Lachelle Jordan, is scheduled to testify in those cases, but now she's missing. Police say there are no confirmed sightings since late last week. This afternoon, 19 News rolled down her street. There was a strong police presence there. Tell 19 News that there is no connection that they can think of at this time that ties her disappearance, that is Lachelle Jordan, to Michael Stenick. Of course, we'll stay on top of this. Outside the Justice Center, I'm Harry Boomer, 19 News.
That I think that's a pretty strong indication that he may have something to do with it. I mean, if I was a witness in a case and the primarily witness and I went missing, you would think that he had something to do with it. I did go and look, and she is still missing according to Google. Anyway, I am very concerned for her. you know, I spent, as you know, I spent 33 years in law enforcement, and I only had one witness that actually died from while he was on the. He made over 30 undercover buys, and I believe to this day that he was murdered. I don't. Hey, BB. I don't believe that he just OD'd because his girlfriend at the time said that he didn't even take any. He wasn't taking any drugs. And he was due to testify against all these drug cases when somebody, I believe, killed him. I've been told in the last year that he was murdered, but they won't tell me who did it. I talked to somebody that used to be in the drug thing, but they won't say. I don't know why he was out on bond, but it really doesn't matter if he was out on bond or not. Though he probably, if he wanted somebody dead, you know, it's a shame that in America, if you could pay somebody $500 to kill somebody, and that's the truth. I've seen people say that it wouldn't take more than $500 somebody kills somebody. So, you know, usually they don't mess with police officers and EMTs because it's kind of one big happy family. And if you kill one of us, we're going to come after you. You know, there'll be more people coming, U.S. Marshals. We're going to attempt to do the live stream tonight. Like I said, we are parked. We had a rough day on the road today, real long drive. We left Tennessee yesterday, spent the night at a campground, and then we drove in today about 5 or 6 hours, more than what we like to, and traffic was terrible through Chicago. We went that way. We hadn't been that way in a very long time, but we did. But traffic, we remember today why we didn't like going that way, because it was absolute horrible traffic, and we are exhausted from driving. At least I am. So we gonna. You know what Dina did today, and here's what she said. She helped. We stopped at a place to get diesel fuel, and I asked her to move the RV up to about 15 feet, 20 feet, so I could put this DEF in the back tank. And that's the only part of it she drove. And she says, I helped drive. No,
I did help.
you did not.
I did.
And so we are worn out, but we are going to try to finish this and try to tonight talk about chemtrails, comtrails, whatever. It's me and Tony going to debate that issue and show you some video too. But we are going to talk at around 8 o'clock tonight, so we will get through with this before 8. I promise you. But this, I'm really concerned for the girl, and also I wanted. I'm sorry, I had a video on the Michael Chambers, and I want to go ahead and play it for you, and let you get some information on that maybe I didn't share.
Authorities may have finally solved the mystery of what happened to a retired Dallas firefighter who has been missing for 6 years. Investigators confirmed the skeletal remains found in East Tawakoni belonged to Michael Chambers. They were discovered an hour east of Dallas last November. Chambers disappeared from his home in Greenville in 2017. Police found a small amount of blood in his workshop, but no signs of a struggle. Surveillance video showed Chambers buying something at a Walmart nearby, and his wife reported him missing. The remains were found about 16 miles away, and the Hunt County Sheriff is still trying to determine how he died.
I see there. Let me see something real quick. I didn't want to do that. Why is that going off? I'm trying to, I don't know what that is. Oh, anyway, I didn't mean to do that. But anyway, it's gonna be interesting for a good pathologist or somebody that studies bones, and I apologize, I had the name in my mind, but I can't tell you now. But they study bones, and they study bones of in this current century, not bones of like hundreds of years ago. And they'd be able to look at the bones and probably tell by if he was hit in the head, if he had a hole in the head, if they, I hope they checked the skull too to find out if they had any bullet fragments inside the skull or in some of the bones. But right now, I think all they did was they took stuff from the marrow and a DNA from the bone marrow, and they found they identified it was him. But he was wearing clothes when the bones were over the clothes. The bicycle was out there also, and I don't know if the bicycle was in one portion and then the bones are found in another, but I read somewhere that the hunters or somebody was hiking, getting mushrooms. I don't know exactly what they were doing, that they were in the woods there, and they noticed an old bicycle in the woods, and they went over to investigate it. And when they did, they noticed bones. And at the time, they didn't know, the way I understand it, they didn't know what kind of bones it was. And it's not like I don't think they found a skull and all that, but they did notify police, and they did. Now, I'll tell you how bones are. We found bones that had washed up, not myself, but other officers found bones that had washed up on the beach. And somebody, I think it was actually swimming, found them. And thought the bone was a little bit too long to be a fish bone, or too big, too big. They didn't think it was a fish bone, but they called the police, and sure enough, they checked it, and it had belonged. It was a human bone, and they took DNA from it and found out it was a guy that worked on a barge that had I guess, I don't know how they had his DNA from somewhere, and they ran it back and found out it was a guy that had fell off a barge and been in the Gulf. So, they can find out. It just takes a while to do it. It's not like NCI or whatever it is, where they get the results back from DNA in a couple of hours. It's just not, right now, it's just not feasible to do that. They need
Forensic pathologist.
yeah, forensic pathologist, but they got a name for a bone guy that works on, just does bones. The forensic pathologist is the guy that does the autopsy. But anyway, hopefully they'll be able to rule it, get it down, and find out what what he died from. Yeah, I appreciate it, Misty Firefly. I appreciate you being here. We do appreciate y'all being here. I don't know what in the heck happened. An anthropologist, okay. I don't know what happened to this. I had one coming. I had been scheduled to come online. I had it already been here for a whole week, nearly. Had everything prepared. In case you don't know it, on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock, I do a little video where you can watch the video. Appreciate it if you do. It tells basically what we are going to talk about right now, tonight. And it gives you a little heads up so that it doesn't last for probably about 10 minutes or so. And you can watch it and you say, okay, we're going to talk about these things, so you can research it for yourself, because I'm not. And you can do me a favor, and you can go and find out. Even sometimes I'm not able to check all of my missing people and find out if any of them have been found, because just like today, we traveled up from, we actually stayed last night in Effingham, Illinois. So we stayed at a nice little campground. It was just kind of out in the side of town, and we got up this morning about 7 o'clock, and Dina does her Bible study in the morning, and then we left and drove another 5 hours up here. I'm tired right now, and I'm tired of driving. I drove the whole way, and Dina did help she drove 20 feet at a gas station. So she did drive the RV 20 feet so I could put in the back tank while we got diesel.
That's so rude.
Why?
I help you drive and you don't even
You helped drive 20 feet.
That's right.
Speaking of eating, she's making sandwich over there for
I've had
herself.
pretzels.
Did you make me a sandwich too?
Yes, I'm making you one too.
Okay.
I've had pretzels.
But we didn't do much tonight. So anyway, if you could look at Tuesday and see what we're doing for Thursday, and I apologize. This thing trying to get everything together and get it to come on right. I don't know what happened. I mean, my internet where I'm at right now is not the greatest. We are parked at our adopted family's house, and we are kind of in the middle of trees, so I don't have the greatest in the world. I have a lot of obstructions in front of me, but it's working so far, so we'll just take that. Personally, I think they'll probably find this 14-year-old if they haven't already. Also, I want to play one little video for you. This is something new that they're having, and maybe that, are you familiar with it? Tell me if you're familiar with it.
You are looking at a new, I'm going to call it a promotional campaign, and the campaign is Red Means Help. And this is a collaborative effort between the University of Portland State University, and our own Portland Police Department. And joining us today is Officer Lindsay, I got it backwards. Lindsay Hoft on my far left is the art director with Portland State University, the student advertising agency, and Officer Natasha Hansberger with the Portland Police. And basically, this is about a campaign to let victims of sex trafficking know there's a way to alert people that they may need your help, which this sounds terrific because we've done so many stories on the fact that sex trafficking seems to have a bullseye over Portland. Is that not a stretch to say that?
How prevalent is it? Well, first of all, thank you for having us here today and giving us a platform to clearly address this growing and prevalent issue in our state of Oregon and Pacific Northwest. And we're here actually to talk about foreign-born labor trafficking. Though we are not here to ignore growing trends of sex trafficking. We commend those efforts, but we're here shedding more light, raising awareness, and supporting other efforts that have continuously worked on this issue. And we, with the Portland State University, actually delivering call for action to provide practical and tangible solutions to improving communication between possible traffic victims of labor trafficking and first responders.
Lindsay, how did it work? I mean, you helped come up with this concept and really promote this collaboration with Portland Police. So when you say Red Means Help, how does it work?
Well, Natasha came to us. She had worked on a film creating a way for officers to understand how human trafficking works. And when she was talking to us, we identified 3 real problems with the way that things were going. One is there were no statistics about human trafficking really here because the cases were being miscategorized often. And then the second was the communication barrier. And third was that victims didn't really understand that they had rights. So Red Means Help is a very quick, simple way for victims to communicate with officers that they need help. And
show red in some form?
Any form.
How would that be,
object.
officer? What would you suggest?
So the way we tailored this campaign and this effort was based on years of research, years of talking with survivors and victims of foreign-born human trafficking that were identified here locally in our own state. So we tailored our training curriculum and this campaign based on input and guidance from survivors and those who are serving victims of foreign-born trafficking. So what we learned from them is that the main barrier is when officers or first responders do possibly come across a survivor or victim of trafficking, there's a language barrier. There is too many barriers to address in a limited amount of time. So, and often we are unaware or unable to recognize red flags. And we often identify as any other crime but totality of circumstances.
So what do officers look for now? Is it a red flag? Is it a red car? Is it a red shirt? Anything red?
whatever a victim might have at his or her disposal to show an officer, just to signal, please stay a little bit longer. We have more to tell you. Don't just think it's a civil issue or it's a dispute or it's a domestic violence. There's more to the story.
Well, let me just say something there, and they just basically talk about anything red, and that might work. I'm going to tell you that might work a lot. The hand signal like this, I think it's like that. I'm buffing a little bit. Okay. Here's the thing. We had a huge amount of human trafficking labor forces, and we had actually two girls that came to our office, and they said that they were being trafficked. They were forced to surrender their passports, which is a big, huge no-no, and that's where the United States can get involved, even if they had Russian passports, and they had been working down here, and they were basically working in Panama City. Well, these two guys came up and took their passports and said, nope, y'all going to the other side, to the Gulf Coast of Alabama. And they went over there, and we actually called the State Department, got them involved. But what happened is this, and this is a bad thing. We were working with the State Department in our back area of our intake, and we had these girls. And then these two guys came to the front door and said they were friends of hers. And I asked them, do you want to see your friends? And they said, yes, we want to see our friends. Limited English. Well, the minute these friends came through the door, they recognized them, and they turned white as a sheet and said, they're not our friends. So we got them out of there. Well, this is the problem. They said, we can't tell you anything now because these people will kill our family in Russia. They will do stuff to us later on. We got to go right now. So we had to release them. We couldn't hold them to start off with. They returned, but they saw them, and these people were bad. So we ended up following the males, and actually were able to put one of the males in jail for something. He had like a gun on him or something like that. And we were able to take him into custody. But the other one, I mean, these girls were scared absolute to death. Red Jaguar, how you doing? We are doing fine. We're exhausted from driving all day, but we are fine. You said, Maggie, may you hear his sweet, furry sounds. Actually, that's not Maggie in the background. That is our little dog. Our little, come here. I'm sorry for the buffing. Like I said, we're in a bad area here in Wisconsin around a lot of trees. Gracie is hungry, and she's whining. She's in the chair. She can't get down. I'll see if I can get her down, and now she can go over here and eat or bother Dina. Yeah, we've been on the road all day there, Red Jaguar. So you're back in Philadelphia for a few weeks? Wow. We talked about a girl that was missing out of Cleveland, an EMS worker. She is if you go back and watch any of the first part of the video, she is a EMS worker that is a key witness in a rape case up there, and she's missing. So they're trying to follow her down. But this, I hope, and I apologize again for the buffing. It's because we're in this wooded area. A lot of leaves are blocking our satellite, our Southern link. And it's for one reason or another, it's causing the connection not to be great. Yeah, I understand they talk about Portland. Portland is the hub, and we did a video on the hub for sex trafficking, and it's a hub for a lot of stuff. You know, Walmarts, all the Walmarts have closed in Portland. They pulled out completely. Some of the high-end tennis shoe places have pulled out completely. There's Cracker Barrel now has pulled out of Portland completely. It's because they have this. You gotta steal more than $950 at one time to be a felony, and also they're doing the bum rushes. They're going in with a bunch of people and stealing a bunch of stuff, and they're just walking out. They're not even calling the police in most cases. Target's pulling out of Portland also, and until they start taking crime, they're defunding the police, and until they start taking crime seriously out there and do something about homelessness is all over they got the sidewalks. And I don't know if you heard this, but New York City has said that what they're going to do because of all the influx of migrants across the border, 28,000 a day. In some cases, they're estimating it's going to be across the border. They're going to close off complete streets, and they're going to put portable housing in the streets of New York and put the migrants in there. 420 square feet housing. And one of the people I heard talking on Fox, actually, it was on Gutfield. I like Gutfield, and I watch him every night. They were talking about it. They said some of their apartments are not 420 square feet. And my son went up there to visit a friend in New York, and he said his friend's apartment was basically a kitchen, a small kitchen about the size of a bathroom and a bedroom, living room, and everything was all together. It was very, very, very small. And they said it was unbelievable. So, I don't know. I understand, believe me, I understand why people want to come from other countries like Honduras and Mexico and I mean, I understand that the economies are horrible. The jobs, there's no jobs down there. The medical facilities are almost unknown. But we don't have room for all these people if they don't come and we get their name and address and find out if they got any diseases and it's caused their health care so bad and give them. They need to come. In other words, they need to come the legal way. I mean, our daughter came over here from Korea, from South Korea, when she's 7 months old. We adopted her. She had to go to get her citizenship. We had to go for an interview before the immigrations. We went and took an oath for her. She, she went before the swearing-in ceremony. I took an oath for her as her proxy, but she stood right beside me. She understands how lucky she is to be an American citizen. She speaks zero Korean, and she's going back to Korea actually with Medina. Her and Medina are going hopefully early next year, to go to Korea. Her and her husbands are going with her for a week. He's coming back, and then Medina and Mindy are going to stay over there for 2-3 weeks. They're going to go to some orphanages and a whole lot of stuff. They've got a translator going to be with them, hopefully. He's a friend of, we have a very good friend. She's Korean. She's been in the United States, and she got a brother over in Korea that's hopefully he's going to be there. He's fluent in English and fluent in Korean. So hopefully he'll be with him. And I don't have a problem with anybody that wants to come live in the United States. I just have a problem with the way they go about it. With all the drugs being smuggled through the United States, now they're doing that fentanyl. Fentanyl is killing over 110,000 people die every year from fentanyl overdose and drug overdoses. Mostly it's cause of fentanyl. And they've got police officers now that issued Narcan. In fact, we got some Narcan just to have in here in case we were accidentally poisoned by fentanyl, picking up the wrong thing, getting, if you roll up on somebody dying of an overdose, at least you can do it. I've heard people leaving dollar bills laced with some fentanyl on the outside. Who knows what they're doing it, but they're carrying. Every police officer I've talked to say they carry it for themselves. If they get out and check in a car for marijuana or something, they get fentanyl on them, get exposed to them, they get out. You've seen videos all over YouTube where they have to get sprayed, and they normally have to take two doses to really get boom, yeah, absolutely. They issued it before you retired, told to keep it. Yeah, absolutely. Because you just never know when you're going to be accidentally exposed to that. And I would much rather have a spray for me or Medina. They gave us my insurance covered it actually. That I was able to get 2 packets of Narcan. Keep it in the RV just in case you were to get accidentally exposed, or you roll up on somebody that had an OD, like at a campground or whatever, somebody OD'd. You'd much rather be able to go save their life than them die. But that's a big thing, and I don't know. But we talked about today about these human trafficking, like in Portland, it's got a horrible thing with human trafficking, and we talked about it too. And I'm sure that every little place, if you go to any of these places on the coastline, all these souvenir shops, they all have foreign workers in them. And we used to get this magazines. They would have foreign magazines. I couldn't read anything on it. It's in Russian or Jamaican or whatever. And they would have a scene of a beach with a palm tree hanging over it, and they entice these people to come to the communities around the coast and work in these places. But what they have to do is they have to pay these people that bring them over here like $2 an hour of their pay. They stay in condos and stuff like that, really nice condos, but there'll be 15, 16 people in these condos, and they have to pay $400 or $500 a month for that. So these companies are getting rich. And when they mess up, when they take their passports or they threaten them with violence, if they share any information about any of their dealings or how they got over here, how they live, how they work, what they have to pay. Now, a lot of these women in around Orange Beach and Gulf Shores area, they ended up escaping this type of workforce, and they actually married police officers, single police officers. I know one that had worked and came over here the same way. She escaped and went to work in she had an education and went to work in a separate place, went to a bank, got a job by, escaped the work of these working in souvenir shops. And she actually married one of our police officers. Now he works for the county as a school resource officer. But she actually got her degree in accounting. She works as an accounting now. But have been married probably 10 years now. And we had several of them like that had married police officers and got away from that stuff. Okay. Hey, Red Jaguar sent you something, said don't read it out loud.
Okay, hey, tell them if they want to know about the human traffic on the Gulf Coast, go and listen to David Baldacci's The Forgotten.
Yeah, David Baldacci put a book out called The Forgotten, and it tells a lot. I don't know if he got it from true stories or not, but it's fictional, but it does give you an idea of how it does. After we heard it, we listened to it, and I told her, I said, man, that sounds like he's got his end in an end, Yeah, so yeah, I agree. Thank you, AK. He's doing a heck of a series on Susan Morphew, and in her own words. I don't know how he got it, but he's done a great job for sure. Also, Red Jaguar, email us your more contact information too. We're actually going out west. We can do it though. Hey, AK, you've done a great job on those Susan Morphew, the stuff going on with her in her own words. If you have not listened to that, go over and listen to AK's stuff. He's doing a great job. It's a lot of, I listened to all of it. It's really a lot of stuff that I had never heard talk about, and really good stuff. Really good stuff. Go over, subscribe to his channel. Go over and listen to it. Support his channel. I really encourage y'all doing that. If we, and I remember you talked about maybe us doing a collaboration on sometime. I would be honored to do it anytime. If we can work it out where we're not on the days like today, we drove 5 hours and I'm whipped, and then me and Tony are gonna talk about contrails and chemtrails tonight. Me and Tony are gonna try to come on at 8 o'clock. What time is it now? It's 8:02 now.
Yep.
Well, we're late, but listen, I'm gonna go on and get over it because I ran late tonight. We couldn't get things going on. I'd appreciate it if you want to get me on there sometime. AK, just send me an email, and you send it to either one. And we're actually, me and Tony, going to talk about some funny stuff tonight. So please, I'm going to switch over here at Tony's channel, and we appreciate it. I'm going to get out here right now because I am late for that one. Y'all, thank y'all. God bless y'all, and we hope to see you over on our other channel.
There's the link to
the other channel. She sent the link out now. So I'm going to go in now. So thank y'all very much, and thank you for being patient with me tonight. Thank y'all.